University Pirates. Respect the H with Eugene Marshall.
Hey Pirate fans, it's game day. Hampton University versus Northern Iowa here on Respect the H, Sky 4. I just want to give a real shout out to all of our fans and folks out there who have been affected by Hurricane Florence. And especially our hearts go out to the people in North and South Carolina and the surrounding areas. We want to wish all of you a speedy recovery and that you can get back to normal. I want to give also a shout out to our administration here at Hampton University. Our President, Dr. William R. Harvey, and the Administrative Council, and all the areas on campus that did everything possible to make our students safe and sound, and also get our students out that needed to get out, but also protect the ones that couldn't get out. It was a total team effort and a job well done. There's a lot more to talk about here on Respect the H. Coach Maurice Pierce, Director of Track here at Hampton University, is our next guest. We'll be right back here on Respect the H, Sky 4.
The rich heritage of Hampton University is now available in a progressive learning environment.
I am University College at Hampton University.
Yo soy University College en Hampton University.
I am University College at Hampton University.
I am University College at Hampton University.
We are University College at Hampton University.
University College offers accredited programs for all progressive learners, online, flexible schedules, military-friendly. University College at Hampton University, continuing education you can trust.
Welcome back to Respect the H on Sky 4. It's game day, Hampton versus Northern Iowa in Northern Iowa. But first, we'd like to talk to our Director of Track and Field, Mr. Maurice Pierce, who has a successful track career here at Hampton University as a head coach and also as director of track. Welcome, Coach.
Welcome. Appreciate you having me here.
Good to see you. You know, just tell our viewers a little bit about your history. I mean, I know they know about the successes, but they need to know about the man that's behind the coach.
Oh wow, that's a serious story right there. Well, I'm going on 19 years here at Hampton. I feel like I've been here about 30 years. I feel like I've been here all my life. But next year will be 20 years, and we've had a lot of success in those 20 years. Won a lot of championships. In between that time, I started a family, got married, and you know how it goes.
Exactly.
Had a lot of turnover with coaches, some stayed, some left, but you know, great alumni, great runners, current runners are great. So we had a lot of success in a long period of time, but it feels like a short period of time on the track. But in real years, it's been long.
What's been your secret to sustaining that success?
I think we do a great job of recruiting. We got away from that the last 2 years, but since I've been here, that's always been our number one priority, recruiting. 9 to 5, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that was our backbone. We went after some great kids, and we got great kids. Went after some kids that we weren't supposed to get, and we got them. So that's always been our backbone. And when we get here, they buy into the system. Once they buy into the system, then it keeps going until somebody messes it all up. But we bring in good recruits that can also run fast. So it's been recruiting.
And we also have an addition and a welcome back with a vet coming back to our staff. Talk a little bit about that, how you coaxed her into persuading her into coming back.
And that was a backdoor deal. I sent her across the water, and now I brought her back across the water. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for her over there. And we talked this summer about her coming back because I personally thought we needed her back. When she was here as an athlete, we won a lot of championships. When she was here as a coach, we still won championships. So her name is reverend around here, locally and nationally, because of what she did. We needed to hurry and get her back. We got her back, and I think the kids love it. The new kids that knew about her, they fall in love with her. And she just brings a different type of mentality to the program, so it'll be great.
And for our viewers, we're talking about Yvette Lewis, Olympian, and who was a great assistant coach here. But you know, Coach Pierce sent her back over to Norfolk State to get some more leadership development as a associate head coach, so that when the time came to bring her back, he brought her back as an associate head coach for our women's program. So, you know, at Hampton, we send people away sometime to get additional training to come back to help us. Yeah. But Coach, let's go to the video and talk about some of our runners who have done excellent work for you last year and what you expect for them to do this year. Well,
that young man right there, Wesley, from Kenya, he came and he actually dominated the conference. He won 4 outdoor events. He broke all the distance event records. Young lady there, Crystal, is one of our returning multi-event athletes. She's a pretty good athlete, local girl. She's a senior. She does an abundance of events for us. She's not extremely the most talented person on there, but she can score in a lot of events. That girl there, Yana, from New Jersey, your home state. Give a shout out to New Jersey. She's our best thrower, returning. She's a smart girl too. She's one of our girls on academic scholarship. Unfortunately, that young man right there, Isaac, graduated. He's in the military now, but he was our best triple jumper the last couple of years. There go the dynamic duo, yeah. Coach Gray and Coach Smalls. Yeah. Everybody around here love them. I think they forget about me sometimes because they see them all the time. But they're excellent coaches. They do a great job for me, and they work extremely hard. And when you look at the workouts, when you talk about the workouts that the teams do during the year, each student athlete has a different time. Yes. And Coach Gray and his staff and Coach Smalls kind of work out during the day so that in between classes we're able to get that done. Well, the reason why we do that is because we got a lot of kids that do a lot of events, and we can't get it all in at 3:30, especially kids that do technical events, field events, stuff like that. So Coach Gray and Coach Small, they spend a lot of time during the daytime out on the track, doing their weightlifting separately. I can't go on the track all day long. Right. So they go on the track, they work around their kids' schedule, but then everybody comes back for the regular 3:30 session. And that's how you see the results that you see on the video with the jumping and Jalen Williams. And Jalen's had a phenomenal career here at Hampton thus far, and he's got a lot more to go. We just need him to get out of his own way. Yeah. If he stay in his own, if he let me handle it, he'll be fine. But he's a great guy. Look at him standing up. You know, that's his limelight right there. He likes the camera. See? Yeah. he's made for TV. Yeah. Justin Beatty just graduated. We're gonna miss him a lot. Crystal, she's misanimated. Yeah. They all seem to like the limelight. They go to delegation. Yeah. That's the Kenyan delegation. Uh-oh. I gotta be careful now. Too many cameras watching. Right, now as you transition and you watch this finish here, and he always predicts that he's gonna win before he runs his races. Oh yeah, Brennan and Jalen. Yeah. You know, they're cocky, but they're confident. Yeah. You know, they work hard. I can appreciate their swagger. Yeah. You know, they're something like you. They got a swagger. You know, you got that. You got that demeanor, but I know you got a swagger. You got that swag. But you know, I'm excited about all the people that's returning. That guy there could be really, really, really good. A phenomenal athlete. Just still kind of young mentally. That's our best jumper. Jalen Leonard. Unfortunately, she got hurt last year on the winning jump at the MEAC Championships. Right. But she struggled outdoor season, but she still qualified for the postseason. She got herself together and had an excellent season, so we look for big things from her. We're going to have additional conversation with Coach Pierce and talk about our entry into the Big South and what he sees as we start cross-country season and go to indoor and outdoor. There's more to come. Game day. Respect to H. Sky 4. We'll be right back.
At the beginning of 2016, I was diagnosed with a pretty large brain tumor and a very rare form of brain cancer. We came to the conclusion that proton therapy was the best solution for me because as a young woman, we wanted to preserve as much of my brain as we could without treating areas that weren't affected by the cancer cells. Proton therapy spared my quality of life. It put a smile back on my face that I hadn't seen in months.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Welcome back to Respect to H here on Sky 4. I'm here with Coach Pierce as we continue to talk about his track program and the impact that moving to the Big South is going to have on Coach Pierce's track program, not only recruiting, but also continuing our national footprint. Coach Pierce has had the great fortune of having a national footprint in the sport of track. So moving to the Big South will be no big deal. Am I right, Coach?
Yeah, that's correct. We've always had a big footprint in track and field, mainly because we compete on the national stage all the time, and our kids get a lot of exposure. But joining the Big South and competing in the Big South does a lot of different stuff for us. It gives us more exposure because you got a different viewer and you got a different type of kid that our kids mainly wouldn't see at championship meets. So it allows us to get outside the box and not be stuck inside this one box of quote unquote this HBCU program. So it's taking us out the box even though we've already established ourselves as a national program. But when we recruit now, that's when the difference is. We're outside of the box and we're out with mainstream college now. So we don't have to, I don't have to justify of why we only compete against each other in the HBCU circle, and people don't understand that we also compete on the national stage. So now it's an easier conversation. I'm saying, hey, we're still this school, but we do this in a different conference. In the Big South, you know, they get a lot of exposure. You know, those programs, those coaches been there a while. They have established program. It's a distance-heavy program, so we're gonna try to mix it up a little bit. But they got outstanding program, they got outstanding facilities, outstanding schools. So I'm selling all that when I'm recruiting, and I'm trying to tell the kids, you know, you can expose yourself in a different arena now.
And just like as we were watching the video a little bit, as the team was warming up, it's the same situation as though you were being in the IC4As up in New Jersey, which we do for indoor and outdoor, and then also nationally. You know, we compete nationally. A lot of our runners qualify for IC4As out of the MEAC championships, and then they qualify for nationals. So they run against all of the Big South opponents anyway.
Yeah, so what happens is you don't want a kid to become labeled, and you gotta teach them to compete outside the box. And I call it the HBCU box. And it's been a great box, no question, phenomenal athletes. But that's the reason why we decided to join the IC4A and ECAC a couple years ago, because we wanted to do something different and put our kids in a different mindset. And that way you get a better opportunity to qualify for the postseason also, because your mentality is different in terms of who you're competing against and why you're competing and things like that.
And that also allows us to recruit on a wider scale. It allows us to attract student athletes on a wider scale. And as we look at our field events that we really do well in, it'll provide us with national coverage for these events, and not just for the sprints and the hurdles and the middle distance. Now people will get to see us on a national level with some of our field events.
Well, that is correct, and with the Big South Network and what they do. And you're right, our fielding people are getting excited because now the camera will be on them too. But they can get excited and they can get exposed at the same time. So
exactly, and at least some of I know your championships, but some of the meets are going to be on ESPN Plus.
Right.
So now you're going to get that national coverage during your conference championships, where we would have to wait until we went to IC4As or we went to the NCAAs. Now you're going to get it right in Big South competition.
And that's what we're selling. We're selling exposure. Everybody being visible with social media now. All these kids now want to be sociable and they want to be visible. And the Big South allows people on our team that's not so visible to be visible now.
And that's why we want all of our fans that are out there in the audience to come to our track meets this spring, and they'll be on our website. And also, you know, our track team will be all over the East Coast preparing for our Big South Cross Country Championships, and then they'll be all over the East Coast preparing for the Big South Indoor Championships, because we travel from New York down to Florida in order to prepare for the championships. And that also helps to give you a good feel, because a lot of those schools are in those meets.
Yeah.
So you get a chance to kind of size them up as they try to size us up as we prepare for the championships.
Well, that is true. Our schedule allows us to compete against everybody in the Big South. We can't hide from them, they can't hide from us. And it's always been that way, but now we're really paying attention. And they go to the same stuff we do, even though we go to a little bit more higher meets. But on the regular schedule, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, we're all at the same meets. So we're really paying attention to each other now.
Well, thanks, Coach Pierce,
Yes.
for stopping by. He'll be in from time to time to give us an update on what the program's doing, some of our star student athletes. I want to bring in Coach Luke Butler after the break, who's our head strength and conditioning coach for football, and he'll give us a status update on the progress of our football playing Pirates. We have a lot to discuss, so hang in there. We'll be right back here on Sky 4. Respect to H.
Hampton University is one of the most beautiful university settings you'll find anywhere. From our world-class research centers to our dedication to the arts and our athletic programs where we build champions, we've launched satellites that will better predict the weather. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute Cancer Treatment Center is easing human misery and saving lives. Hampton University faculty, staff, and students are making a difference in the global community through service and science.
Welcome back to Respect the H. It's game day. Hampton University versus Northern Iowa at Northern Iowa. You know, one of the things we forgot to talk about in the last segment was about some of the Olympians that Coach Pierce and his staff were able to develop. You know, Francina McCory, Javon Hutchison, who was on our last episode last week, just to name a few. You know, one of the taglines that we have here in Pirate Athletics is we build leaders and champions. But in parentheses, we build Olympians as well. And one of the people who plays a huge role in the development, the strength, the conditioning, the speed, the agility is Mr. Luke Butler, who is our head strength and conditioning coach for our football program. And Mr. Butler really is the person that is the driving force behind the endurance, the strength, the nutrition that goes on year-round, not just during football season, but it starts, it starts December 1st, after your last football, and it carries all the way until fall camp starts on, let's say, August 1st. So without further ado, welcome, Coach Butler.
Thank you for having me.
You know, our viewers have not had the chance to really see you because you're the behind-the-scenes guy, but I'd like you to just talk about your background so they can get a kind of a sense of not only who you are, but what you bring to the table and how we've benefited from you being at Hampton.
Sure, yeah. You know, I played football in college. I was a quarterback. People always ask me, why didn't you want to coach football? And I'm like, well, you know, I just have an interest in lifting weights and running and getting guys faster and stronger and more explosive and stuff like that. So the school I played at, which is Augustana College in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, my strength coach there just got me, kind of piqued my interest in strength and conditioning, had me start reading books and reading articles, and he asked me my senior year to come and help him, and that's really where I just kind of got into it. And then from there, I was able to go and volunteer for a year at UCLA, working with their football team, working with volleyball, softball, basketball, just a bunch of sports, and just getting exposed to the whole world of strength and conditioning. And fortunately, you know, the guy I was working for at UCLA recommended me to go to Auburn, and I just had some great opportunities that have come up for me. And my career path is something that if I look back 10 years ago and said this is where I'd be, there's no way you would tell me, you know, this is what's going on. And it's just been a blessing to, you know, get to Hampton via UCLA, Auburn. I trained Air Force Special Operations for a little while in between, and the experiences have been awesome up until this point.
Well, we're lucky to have you. And just let our viewers in on how we've made some adjustments since Coach Prenny came in and you guys got together to make a little more adjustments in the nutrition, the strength program that made us bigger, faster, stronger, and more athletic doing this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah, the biggest thing was Coach Prenny just getting the players to buy into what we're doing, because like you said earlier, you know, training for football is not something that you just start when the season starts. That's something that starts as soon as the previous season was over, and we train really a 52-week year, we train probably 40 weeks out of the year. And you know, those other 11 or 12 weeks that we aren't training is just when the kids go home for small break periods and stuff like that. We train year-round to play 12 games. So Coach Prunty just getting the players to buy in, really just helping them understand the importance of what we're doing in the weight room, and that really gets the kids to come in and give their best effort. Because it's one thing for a kid to come in and just get through whatever we're telling them to do, and it's another thing to come in with the right attitude to really get after it, and that's where you start to see kids making, you know, big gains and achieving the things that they want to achieve. And one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is nutrition. So now with Coach Prunty and his staff, they check the meals. We make sure that our kids are eating 3 meals a day like they're supposed to do. And one thing that I tell the kids all the time is only about 30% of the battle is lifting weights. The other 70% of what you're trying to do is done via your habits, and that's eating good, getting the right amount of sleep, taking care of your body away from the facility, and that's all things that they're doing on their own. So what we just try to do is give them the proper education to empower them to make the right decisions when they're choosing the foods that they're going to eat, going to bed at the right time, and just making good decisions and understanding the impacts of those choices, you know, on their performance. So Coach Prunty has just done a great job in just helping me get the players to understand how important all of that stuff is.
And a shout out to Mr. Camardi at Gourmet Services for his cooperation with Coach Prunty and Coach Butler and all of our coaches for really kind of sitting down and having a team approach to how we serve the 3 meals to our student athletes. So by the coaches going out and watching what they eat and directing them to the right food line, because sometimes, you know, practice, depending on the weather and conditions, may not be a day for fried food. It may be a day for something else. And so that now what the coaches are doing is they're directing all of our 108 student athletes to the right food line, right food court, so that they can eat and really burn up the proper calories. And I think, Coach, this time last year we had lost a significant amount of weight. I think we're holding serve right now, if I'm not correct.
We're actually doing really well. I was checking the weights the other day, and some of our players that needed to lose weight have really reached their goals. I saw one kid went from 355 to 335. He's a freshman. He's only been on campus for 3 months. Other kids that, you know, were kind of borderline, needed to gain some weight, are holding on to their weight, and that's a hard thing to do when the season starts. As you're practicing, you know, especially during camp, you're practicing 2 and 3 hours at a time in the heat, and kids start to lose weight if they're not eating right and making the right decisions. And so a lot of our kids are holding on to weight, and even some have gained weight through camp, which is something that you don't always see. And that all goes back to just compliance in the cafeteria and just making sure that everybody's getting the amount of calories that they need.
Well, we have more to talk about here on Respect to H, Sky 4. We'll be right back.
New coaches, new conference, same school spirit. Hampton University. Tickets on sale now.
Welcome back to Respect to H, Sky 4. It's game day. Hampton versus Northern Iowa at Northern Iowa. We're here with Mr. Luke Butler, head strength and conditioning coach for our football playing Pirates. One of the questions in the audience was, you know, how can a youngster get bigger, stronger, faster? What's some of your secrets for them?
You know, I answer this question every week during the season because we have kids that come through the weight room, coming to see games and recruits and stuff like that. And it's actually still a philosophy that I use with our athletes. The simpler, the better. All you got to do to get faster is go out and run some 10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s at full speed. Everybody wants to use, you know, gimmicks and tools and harnesses and parachutes and sleds and stuff like that. And really the fact is when you're young, the simpler, the better. Run fast, lift heavy, and you know, just stay healthy. And then as long as you're doing that consistently, as a youngster, you're going to get faster and stronger.
And that's the key, and we use that every day here with our Pirates. And as we turn to tonight's game, and being that we were off for a week with the hurricane, how do you think our Pirates are going to do condition-wise? I know you've had them, going all week. What do you think? How do you think they're going to be?
Absolutely, we'll be okay. We're going to start, this week with some lighter conditioning early on in the week, and then let them get their legs back kind of Thursday and Friday before the game. And we were keeping in touch with everybody throughout the week with the hurricane and everything, and making sure that if they were at home, what they were doing was still focusing on football, running, lifting, and just making sure that nobody, forgot that we're still in the middle of the season. But we're going to be okay. We have a bunch of kids that love football and went home and worked hard, and even if they had a break away from being at Hampton, they were still focused on what we were supposed to focus on.
So by the time we kick off tonight, they're going to be ready to go because they had a little break, but they were working out at home, so that they're ready to go. Absolutely.
These kids love the game. They want to be successful, and they know what it takes. So when they have a break, they don't just forget about what we're doing. They want to be successful. They want to go out and make the plays. So they took care of themselves.
Coach, thanks so much for stopping by. We're going to give the closing after the break. It's game day. Hampton versus Northern Iowa at Northern Iowa. Sky 4. We'll be right back.
When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I thought that was a death sentence. It was surgery or regular radiation. They didn't tell me anything about proton therapy. Thank goodness I had people around me that said you need to check out the Hampton University proton therapy. I just was delighted to have proton therapy. I feel great. I had no side effects, and I didn't miss a day of work. We're very fortunate to have a facility like this here in Hampton.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Welcome back, Pirate fans. Game day. Hampton University taking on Northern Iowa this evening at 5 p.m. at Northern Iowa. You can listen to it on WHOV 88.1. And we're looking forward to a great game tonight, but also to fast forward to next week. I would like everybody back, 9 o'clock, Respect to H, Sky 4, but also at 2 o'clock, come watch our Pirates take on Charleston Southern. It's not only going to be a great game, there'll be some tailgating. There'll also be a chance to watch our wonderful marching force band and also our cheerleaders and Ebony Fire. So come on out next Saturday to enjoy the festivities as we play Charleston Southern. And again, thank you all for listening and watching our show. We have a lot more to talk about in the next couple of episodes, so keep it here. Sky 4, Respect to H. Thank you again.